Do you realize how many women move through life without ever understanding how deeply captivating they truly are? And no, I'm not speaking only about physical beauty. There is something far more intense than appearance alone. I'm talking about that quiet essence, that unique way you carry yourself, observe the world, express your emotions, and exist naturally, that can completely overwhelm a man even when you don't recognize it in yourself. The most incredible part is that you often minimize it. You assume that because you don't match some artificial beauty ideal, you couldn't possibly be that magnetic. But what genuinely mesmerizes us goes far beyond a perfect figure or flawless makeup. It's that silent self-assurance, that authenticity that simply cannot be imitated, that energy you radiate when you walk into a room without needing to speak at all. Today I want to show you the clearest signs that you are much more attractive than you think, and that men, even when we attempt to hide it, notice on a very deep level. Some of these signs are so subtle you may never have realized how powerful they actually are. But trust me, we notice them. Stay with me until the end because the final sign is one most women completely overlook. Yet for men, it is one of the most irresistible qualities imaginable. After hearing this, you may begin to see yourself from a completely different perspective. One of the strongest signs is when men become nervous around you. This is one of the most authentic and at the same time one of the most misunderstood indicators, because when a man behaves awkwardly, avoids direct eye contact, or seems strangely uncomfortable, you might assume he isn't interested. But often the opposite is true. He is far more affected by you than he knows how to handle. Pay attention carefully. When a man is genuinely drawn to a woman who deeply impresses him, his body exposes him. He starts doing things he normally wouldn't do. He touches his neck repeatedly, fixes his sleeves, adjusts his posture, crosses and uncrosses his arms for no reason, or suddenly changes the rhythm of his speech. Sometimes he talks too quickly because he's nervous. Other times he slows down because he's afraid of saying the wrong thing. Occasionally he even goes quiet, as if his mind suddenly stopped working. It isn't because he lacks confidence or personality. It's because your presence unsettles him in a way he cannot fully control. There are women who do not merely attract attention physically. They dominate the atmosphere without trying. Your energy, your beauty, your confidence, and the way you carry yourself can make even a very experienced man feel completely unbalanced. What I want you to understand is that this discomfort is not weakness on his part. It is actually a sign of intense attraction. If you notice that a man who is usually calm suddenly becomes tense around you, shifts his posture constantly, or seems overly aware of everything he's doing, believe me, you are affecting him more deeply than you realize. And most importantly, never reduce your light just to make someone else feel comfortable. Do not make yourself smaller. Embrace that power instead. Because if a man becomes nervous in your presence, it often means he sees you as someone important, someone unforgettable, someone worth far more than an ordinary interaction. Another major sign is when people keep looking at you repeatedly without saying anything. This may sound simple, but it is one of the most powerful and underestimated indicators of attraction. When a woman has genuine magnetism, the environment reacts to it automatically, even if she remains completely unaware. You may think you're simply walking through a store, entering a cafe, or standing quietly somewhere minding your own business. But from the outside, something about you captures attention. And it's not only the first glance that matters. The real sign is the second look. The moment someone has already looked away but then turns back again just to look once more. Do you know what that actually means? It means something about you stayed in their mind longer than expected. Something about your presence made an impression that could not be satisfied with one quick glance. That second look is one of the most honest confirmations that there is something unusually captivating about you. And often it has nothing to do with wearing expensive clothes or looking perfectly styled. Sometimes it's simply your posture, the calmness in your expression, the way you walk, or the quiet confidence in your energy. True attraction is rarely loud. It is felt more than announced. Many women miss these moments because they are distracted by their thoughts, their phones, or simply focused on getting through the day. But if you've ever noticed people turning back to look at you again without speaking, understand that this is not random. It means your presence leaves an impression that lingers. And yes, many times we want to say something, but that second glance already reveals more than words ever could. Another powerful sign is that you underestimate yourself while constantly receiving compliments from others. This is one of the clearest and most ironic signs of all. Have you ever had a day where you personally felt unattractive or average, yet someone still told you that you looked amazing? Or perhaps someone said, "There's just something about you I can't explain." That is not coincidence. That is proof that your attractiveness extends far beyond what you personally notice in the mirror. This happens very often with authentic women who are not obsessed with appearing perfect, but naturally awaken emotions in others. Maybe you think your hair looks messy, your outfit is ordinary, or your body doesn't match impossible standards, and yet compliments continue to appear. Why? Because attraction is not limited to appearance alone. Men notice things women often overlook: the warmth in your voice, the way you laugh naturally, the calm confidence in the way you speak, the softness or intensity in your eyes, the energy you bring into conversations. Sometimes we cannot fully explain it, but we feel it strongly. There are women who walk through life completely unaware of the emotional effect they leave on people around them. And honestly, that unawareness can make you even more magnetic because you are not forcing anything. You are not desperately trying to impress anyone. You are simply existing as yourself. That natural authenticity, combined with feminine energy, creates an attraction that is difficult to describe, but impossible to ignore. So the next time someone tells you there is something special about you, stop dismissing it immediately. Stop assuming they are exaggerating. Maybe they are noticing something real that you have been unable to see in yourself. Another sign is when people search for excuses just to interact with you. This is something many women completely overlook. When a man feels attracted to you but doesn't know how to approach directly, he begins creating small reasons to be near you. And these reasons are often completely insignificant on the surface. He may ask for help with something simple. He might request your opinion on something unimportant. He may ask for recommendations, clarification, or tiny favors that he could easily figure out himself. To you, it may feel casual or meaningless, but most of the time it isn't. Men often look for harmless excuses to create interaction when they genuinely like someone, especially when that woman intimidates them slightly because of how strongly they feel attracted to her. Instead of openly flirting, they try to create comfort first. They try to stay near you longer. They try to keep the conversation alive even through small, random topics. And the important thing is that it rarely happens only once. You begin noticing patterns. The same person repeatedly finding ways to talk to you. The same person suddenly appearing around you more often. The same person continuing conversations longer than necessary. These behaviors usually reveal much more than direct words ever could, because attraction often hides itself behind ordinary moments. Many women think attraction must always be loud, dramatic, or obvious. But often the strongest attraction reveals itself through subtle behaviors repeated consistently over time. And when someone keeps finding reasons to stay connected to you, it usually means your presence affects them far more deeply than they are willing to admit openly. If you begin to notice that this person constantly finds little excuses to text you, call you, come near you, or remain around you, even for the smallest and most unnecessary reasons, then there is already a very obvious sign in front of you. Because what they are asking for is usually not the real point. What truly matters is the hidden intention behind it all. Many times you may not even realize it at first. It can seem completely normal to you, maybe even sweet or harmless. But when you start observing more closely, you understand that all those tiny interactions are simply excuses for something much deeper. What they truly want is to stay close to you, connect with your energy, and keep your attention on them for just a little longer. So the next time someone asks for your help with something they could easily solve on their own, notice the details carefully. Watch if there is also a nervous smile, a softer tone of voice, or an unusually intense look in their eyes. Because sometimes a simple, "Hey, can you help me with this?" is actually another way of saying, "I don't really know how to approach you, but I want to be near you." Another important sign appears when women criticize you for no clear reason at all. Yes, I know this part may feel uncomfortable, but it needs to be spoken about honestly. When a woman is genuinely attractive, not only physically but through her energy, presence, confidence, and the way she naturally carries herself, not everyone around her reacts positively. And it is not necessarily because you are doing anything wrong. In many situations, you are not even trying to stand out, yet you may still notice certain women giving you strange looks, making passive-aggressive comments, or criticizing things about you that honestly make no sense. Sometimes it can feel as if everything about you becomes too much in their eyes. Too confident, too beautiful, too elegant, too polished, even too kind or too friendly. And I really want you to understand something important here. That kind of criticism is usually not about you at all. It is more about how your presence makes them feel internally. Because your attractiveness can unintentionally force insecure people to compare themselves to you more harshly. And that creates emotional discomfort inside them. Have you ever had someone call you arrogant even though you barely spoke? Or noticed somebody trying to compete with you over things you were never even competing about? That says a lot more than you think. Of course, not all women will react in this way. Many will genuinely admire you, feel inspired by you, or simply enjoy being around your energy. But when you begin seeing unnecessary criticism, uncomfortable reactions, or comments clearly meant to reduce your confidence, do not absorb it personally. Instead, recognize it for what it often is: evidence that your light is more powerful than you realize. Your energy, your confidence, your presence, and the way you naturally exist can make people who feel insecure about themselves uncomfortable. And although that may not always feel fair, it is still one of the strongest signs that you are far more attractive than you currently believe. Another sign is when strangers smile at you even though they do not know you at all. Maybe you are walking through the street, standing in a supermarket aisle, sitting on public transportation, or simply existing in your own world, and suddenly someone, especially a man, smiles at you for no obvious reason. He does not speak. He does not try to start a conversation. Sometimes the smile is shy, almost embarrassed, as if he hopes you did not notice. Other times it is more confident, almost like his expression is saying, "There is something special about this woman." And even though it might appear small or insignificant, it actually means something deeper. That smile is a reflection of what your presence naturally projects outward. Because when a woman is truly attractive, and again, I am not speaking only about physical beauty, it radiates beyond appearance. It is felt emotionally and energetically. There is something in the way she walks, the way she looks at the world, the way she exists without trying too hard, that naturally attracts attention. That quiet magnetism often causes men to smile instinctively before they even understand why. It becomes a silent greeting, a silent admiration, a silent, "I like your energy, but I don't know how to approach you." And that is exactly why this is one of the most subtle yet genuine signs that your presence leaves a lasting impression on people. Because a real smile cannot truly be forced. It appears naturally from the body as an unconscious reaction. So the next time somebody smiles at you without any clear reason, do not dismiss it so quickly. Chances are you are not trying to attract attention at all. You are simply creating it effortlessly. Another delicate but very real sign is when men who are already in relationships look at you more than usual. I understand this point can feel uncomfortable, but it deserves honesty. When a woman carries strong feminine energy and natural attractiveness, people notice her presence whether they intend to or not. Sometimes even men who are already committed to someone else struggle not to glance at you longer than they should. That does not mean you are doing anything wrong or intentionally provoking attention. It simply happens. More often than you may realize. You could be at a gathering, inside a cafe, walking down the street, or standing in a random place when you suddenly catch someone staring just a little too long. And very often they immediately look away because they know they should not be doing it. But attraction is not always something people fully control, especially when it is triggered by something deeper than appearance alone. And this is important for you to understand. You are not deliberately causing these reactions. It is your energy, your aura, your natural femininity, and the way you carry yourself that people respond to. You should never feel guilty or uncomfortable simply for existing in your natural energy. In fact, those reactions often reveal just how magnetic your presence truly is, even to people who try to ignore it. Another clear sign appears on social media. You post something simple, maybe a casual picture, a normal story, or an everyday moment without trying too hard, and somehow the attention still pours in. The likes increase. The reactions keep coming. The messages appear again and again, and sometimes you genuinely wonder, what is so special about this picture? But the truth is, it is rarely just about the photo itself. It is about the energy behind it. It is about you. When a woman is naturally attractive, she does not need to constantly show more skin, seek validation, or create exaggerated images to leave an impression. Because what truly captivates people is not only what they see visually, but what they emotionally feel through your authenticity. Your eyes, your expressions, your natural confidence, your calmness, your energy, all of it communicates something powerful, even through a screen. And believe me, many men can sense that immediately. Some are even intimidated by it because they do not know how to handle that level of feminine energy when it appears in such a natural and subtle way. What is most interesting is that many women still underestimate themselves. They think they need to try harder, become more perfect, or create a more curated image online. But your greatest strength often lies in how naturally you exist without forcing anything. It does not matter if you are wearing a simple shirt, no makeup, or casually sharing moments from your ordinary life. The fact that people still react strongly to your presence without you even trying is one of the clearest signs that you are much more attractive than you realize. And finally, one of the most misunderstood signs is when men become confused around you. This happens more often than many women understand. A man may seem deeply interested in you at first. He gives you attention, searches for opportunities to speak with you, compliments you, stays close to you, and acts completely invested. Then suddenly, without warning, he pulls away. He disappears for a while, and after some time passes, he returns acting as if nothing ever happened. Naturally, this feels confusing. You begin wondering if he is playing games, manipulating you, or trying to create emotional confusion intentionally. But many times the reality is more complicated than that. Some men genuinely become overwhelmed by strong attraction and emotional intensity. Your presence affects them more deeply than they expected, and instead of understanding those emotions, they retreat from them for a while. Then after creating distance, they begin missing your energy again and feel drawn back toward you. This does not excuse immature behavior, of course, but it explains why confusion often appears around genuine attraction. Because powerful energy can make people act inconsistently when they are not emotionally prepared for what they are feeling inside.